G'day, I'm Sandy from Outdoor Connection, and this is Josh. He's going to give me a hand today to show you how to set up and take down the Escape Plus 4E. The 4E is basically the same as the 3E, I'll just point out any differences as we go along. I've already laid out the tent and pegged out the whole base of the inner tent. When you peg it out, just make sure that it's not too tight. It's firm, but not too tight and square. So when you get the tent, in the carry bag, there'll be the inner tent, the fly, a bag of fiberglass poles and steel poles. They're just the awning poles for the 4E. The 3E doesn't have the awning poles. And a bag of pegs. After you've pegged out the tent, the next thing to do is to put the black fiberglass poles through the main diagonal part of it. Just make sure the pole sits right down into the ferrule properly. So the poles go through these sleeves and through the black loop in the middle. Feed it all the way through till it's sitting about halfway through, and then do the same with the other pole. The next, feed through the grey awning pole, feed the pole through the sleeve and then through the black loops. There's 2 black loops for this pole. Black loops will sit approximately where the bent ferrule is. The next step is to stand the tent up. If there's 2 people, it's usually easier if one lifts it all up and the other person takes it around and puts it over the pins. So now you can stand up the grey poles. The end of the pole just slides over this pin like that. The black pole goes to the front pin and the grey pole goes to the one further back. Clip the tent to the poles. Now the tent's up, we're ready to put the fly over. Car key colour is the front of the tent. At the apex of the tent you'll find these 2 ties. Tie them around the 2 poles. On each pole there are 2 Velcro ties, so just do them up around the pole. And there's a second tie on the inside of the fly which attaches down lower. And this just positions the fly over the frame of the tent. Don't forget the Velcro ties that go over the poles at the top of the door. So now we're ready to peg out the fly. Start at the corners, position the peg about 10 centimetres out from the inner peg. When we peg out the front of the awning, just make sure it's taut along that way and that way. Just remember when you peg out the fly that you have the doors done up. That way you'll be able to zip them up easily. The escape plus tents are equipped with ventriflow panels. When open, these panels allow a draft of cool air down low where you're sleeping. Simply unzip the panels and peg them out. Peg them out at about 45-degree angle from the bottom of the panel. The next step would be to peg out the guy ropes. We recommend pegging the guy ropes at all times because you never know when the wind's going to come up. The purpose of the guy rope is to stabilise the top of the tent. So that's it, all set up, ready to go. I'm going to show you now how we pack it up and roll it up into the bag. When packing up, the first thing to do is remove all the pegs except for the corners and these two at the front of the tent. I'm using the Outdoor Connection peg puller to make life easier. Just make sure all the doors and windows are zipped up. This will make it easier for when you set up next time. Now we undo the Velcro tabs. Next we undo the Velcro tabs on the fly. Don't forget the ones at the top of the door. So undo the tie at the top of the tent. It's a good idea to have the bottom of the door open a bit so it makes it easier to reach. Best way to find the fly is to find this seam that runs from the apex of the tent down to the top of the door. And we're going to fold the fly up lengthways down along that seam. Straighten it out so it's all in half and fold in this triangle here. So you've got a rough rectangle. And then keep folding it in from one end. Now you've got this folded up with all the bottom at one end. Undo all the clips first. Pull the pole off the pin and drop the tent. The easiest way to take a pole out of a pole sleeve is to put a bend in it like this. That locks the ferrules on, otherwise if you pull it straight, it's just going to come apart. Put a bend and just feed it through the pockets like that. And then you can fold it up. Do that with all three poles. Before you remove the pegs, it's a good idea just to straighten out the inner tent so it's easier to hold up later. Now remove all the pegs. Now we're going to fold the tent in half lengthways and then half again. And go from the corners. Take the folded fly and place it on top of the inner tent. The best way to roll it is to take your bag of poles, place it on the end of the tent and then roll up over that. That gives you a good firm base to start rolling. It's good to have your ties ready to tie straight away when you finish rolling. Take the carry bag, place the end over one half, pull it up like that, flip it over, zip it up. Don't forget your bag of pegs. And there you go, all packed up and ready to go.